Tim, what are you laughing about?
Tell him? Oh, yeah. You see hot fish over there?
All right, good.
Okay, red light's on. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this April 29th work session / Board of Supervisors meeting. This time, an invocation by Mr. Slade, please.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer before we begin. Our Father, thank you for your incredible power, your might, the courage that you give us, the stamina that you give us, the ability to do the work you've called us to do. Father, that all comes from you. You've seated these men and put them in this place of authority, Father, by your sovereign will. And you are totally in control, and we acknowledge that. Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity and privilege of serving our fellow man. And it is a privilege. And thank you, Lord, that we get to celebrate public servants who have long dedicated much of their lives, Lord, to serving their fellow man, to being ready at a moment's notice, to sacrifice whatever is required. Father, that is such a blessing and such a gift to our community. And we don't ever want to take that for granted. Thank you for our men and women in law enforcement and emergency response and our fire services, those people who step up to the plate every day, Lord, put it all on the line. Thank you for them and for their sacrifice and for their service. And we celebrate them today. We're going to do what we do here to serve this community in honor and in recognition of how they serve us. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Next is public comment. We have recognition of retirement.
Yeah, and if it's all right, I'll
Yeah.
start a few things on that. And look, I want to say this kind of segues in really good to kind of, I think Slade wrote that prayer just for our first responders on the same side, but we're going to talk about the Patridge, Brad Patridge, just for a second. So Brad, I know his dad is, who else is here, Brad? I know your dad perfectly. So look, I want to say a few things about Brad, and we're going to talk about, Craig's got one of these little fancy resolutions and all that he writes and everything, but I want to talk about just for a second the guy we have retiring today. So as Slade mentioned in his prayer, there's nothing truer than the first responders that we have in Rankin County and across the state of Mississippi, but I've got a special tie into Brad Patridge. Brad and I started at the fire department, I hate to even say the dates, in the early 1990s when we went to work and through the fire academy and everything else together, but we talk about our first responders' hero and courage that they display inside of it, and we talk about that kind of in the general blanket, but specifically I want to talk about Brad for a second because we were at a house fire in the early 90s, and I was obviously a young guy. Brad was a young guy on the same point. It was on Highway 471 at Vine Drive. We were at a trailer fire, and obviously we show up. The building's filled full of smoke. We make our decision that we're going to try to go inside of it. We pull hose off a fire truck, and we make entry into the building, right? So firefighting side of that type of life goes in where a guy's on the front of the hose on the nozzle side, somebody else is at the door pulling hose, and other people around doing other things. And I'm inside this trailer, zero visibility. You can hear things popping and cracking. I was a little young and a little arrogant, obviously, at the time, and maneuvering myself through the building. And I take a right, and I can't go right. I go to left, I can't go left. I try to go forward, I can't go forward. And I feel some stuff come down up on top of me. And then all of a sudden, I realize I'm stuck, and I can't get out. So now the fear sets in, and I start figuring out what in the world am I fixing to do now? I'm fixing to die in a trailer on Highway 471 in a house fire. And I call on the radio and I said, hey, I'm stuck in an area of the trailer. I don't know where I'm at. And then I hear Brad come over the radio and say, as he always calls me, dude, I'm on my way. So in the next few minutes, I don't really remember what happens to me, but I get a cold chill across me. But I feel Brad's hand grab the back of my air pack, pull me out of a closet, and basically in my mind save my life. And I say that to the point to where we hear about our first responders' courage, and we hear the things that they can go through and find and muster up in those times. But I'm a direct relation to the experience that he put in that house fire that day that brought me out of that fire alive. I say that to a point that, it may have been better for them to just stayed in there and died in a little closet, right? But because of Brad Patridge, early into his career, displaying the courage and all that all of our first responders do, put me here today. I'm forever indebted to Brad Patridge's courage and resolve and commitment to the community of that. As he goes on through, he serves 20 years in law enforcement on top of that. But his initial draw into this whole deal was in the fire service, at the fire department, at the reservoir, where the courage that the type of courage that Brad has inside of him is what we ask for all of our first responders to be able to find. Some people never find it, but Brad finds it, and he knows that switch is in there. Now, both our hair is a little white, maybe coming out a little bit. He wears glasses. I need glasses, right? So we're falling apart toward the back end of it. But the kind of character that Brad Patridge has, a testament from his dad, his mom, his family. He's got his kids. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, how much I love you, how much I'm proud of you on the retirement date of it. Craig's got some fancy words in a resolution that all says that. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate you. Mr. Patridge, how proud I am of your son, how proud you should be of this moment. And I want to say that to you. So if y'all want to come up, Brad, and bring your dad, come up. I know you got some judges here, Barry's here, Jessica's here in the back. But let Craig read some words for you.
Welcome aboard. Congratulations to you, sir. We're honored. Come right here. Let's stand in front of these guys. I'm going to read this for the record.
You got it,
This is a formal resolution, Brad, by the Board of Supervisors of Rankin County, amending and congratulating District 2 Constable Brad Patridge for 25 years of loyal services to citizens of Rankin County. Whereas the Rankin County Board of Supervisors has consistently recognized our county's law enforcement and court services personnel as being vital components of what makes Rankin County a desirable and safe place to live, work, and raise a family. And whereas the Rankin County Justice Court system, as well as its regiment of elected constables, have been a consistent partner with the Rankin County Board of Supervisors in providing invaluable service to the efficient and effective operation of the justice court system, support for law enforcement activities generally, and serving and protecting the citizens of Constable District 2 for decades. And whereas in recognizing the importance of our elected constables, the Rankin County Board of Supervisors also recognizes the valuable service of Constable Brad Partridge, who is retiring after 25 years, I said Partridge, I meant Patridge, 25 years of service to the Rankin County, first as a firefighter with the Reservoir Fire Department and as an elected constable for District 2. And whereas over the course of Constable Patridge's loyal and dedicated service to Rankin County, the citizens of his district and the community as a whole have benefited greatly from his hard work, his dedication, and his service. As a result of Constable Patridge's service, the citizens of Rankin County rightfully express their gratitude. Now therefore be it resolved, the Rankin County Board of Supervisors congratulates and commends Constable Brad Patridge on 25 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Rankin County. The board extends to Brad and his family our deepest appreciation for his dedication and commitment to our community, and we extend our best wishes on the occasion of Brad's retirement. Brad, that's signed today, April 29, 2021. It's signed by each of the supervisors and by our Chancery Clerk, Mr. Swales. And I want to make this resolution an official document for our records and let everybody know how proud we are to recognize you for your service and your commitment to our community.
Thank you, sir. Amen.
Patrick, good to see you. Hey, you want to go down there and make a
We're
picture?
gonna get a
Congratulations.
We're gonna get a photograph.
Go down there. You good?
Stand, y'all stand right here in front of us.
Stand right here, let's get a
Stand
photo.
right
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You got mine. I got my map. Hey, Chuck, hang on one sec. We need to get the judges and maybe
Yeah,
Barry up here
absolutely.
also. Bo, Jessica, y'all want to come up here?
Come on.
Judge, Barry. Judge, you got his tie on over there, so.
Leaving Tracy out, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see Trace back there. Agnew may be our most photogenic judge in the whole county. He's got the best hair, I think, of any judge we've got. So, yep. You get everybody? All right. Get a couple of wallets.
Eyes down there.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Hey.
You bet.
Where do I go?
Y'all stay in the order you're in?
Well, I know you're supposed to forget about it. I can't forget about it.
King was on my hand.
Tracy.
Jessica Massey, King,
I'll do it, I'll tell him.
She is.
Assistant Clerk.
It's a mess. Lucky I ain't survive.
Enjoy all that money you're making.
Retirement money.
Yeah.
Hope to get some of it someday.
Jessica Massey.
Trying to get it.
Jessica Massey.
M-A-S-S-E-Y?
Yes.
And you are?
Court.
Okay, who is next?
All right, while we're doing this, I have a motion to
who's doing it in
recess the
order.
Board of Supervisors meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by
I was the
Brad.
last one.
second
Going
by
in order on the
Steve.
pictures?
All in favor, say aye.
You're on the right.
I was next to Ben.
Okay, good. Don't go in.
Okay.
Yes, on.
Joshua.
You want to do it again?
Thanks.
Anyway, Renee, you get ready. I think you can hear that part.
Give me a few minutes.
Renee, get ready.
Yeah, definitely.
No, these are for.
James, get started reading and remember.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
All right, we recessed the Board of Supervisors meeting. We're going into the Planning Commission meeting this time. Call it to order. And let's see, we got no old business and new considerations.
We need to approve the minutes, please.
I'm sorry. To have a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Jay.
And my last name.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay.
Okay.
No old business, new consideration.
All right, so the first item is a conditional use permit for Carl Taylor at 7 Bonaparte Street. Mr. Taylor is seeking the conditional use permit to construct a 5,000 square foot metal building on this property. It's Lot 54, La Bourgeois Estates, Part 4. It's a 3.2 acre parcel. It's zoned RE1. The metal exterior is not allowed in the RE1 zone. You may remember that this item was originally on the January 28th planning meeting. It's been on hold due to restrictive covenants of the subdivision. This is his site plan. The home will be approximately 267 feet off of the front property line. This is a rendering of what the home will look like. Mr. Taylor provided a document signed by the property owners in La Bourgeois Estates Part 4 wherein they acknowledge their agreement and approval for the board to grant a variance to allow the construction of this residential steel building on Lot 54 in La Bourgeois Estates Part 4. We posted the property again and the hearing notice was published. We've not received any calls
So
since then.
is it still building on the inside? What about the outside?
It's a metal exterior.
Oh, all metal.
Mm-hmm. You want to see the picture?
Yeah.
You can't tell that much.
Ain't till the roof is metal.
Yeah, it's metal. It'll have a metal exterior. This is a view of that property. That's the driveway going in. And then these are surrounding properties in that neighborhood.
And the surrounding homeowners are okay with it?
They've signed
Good.
that document. It's been recorded in the land records, I believe.
Okay.
And so Mr. Taylor is here if y'all have any questions.
Are you
for him.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Your neighbors are good.
My neighbors are good, yeah, most of them are. I got it, 21 out of 24
Wow.
signatures in phase 4. A couple of them I never could get in touch with.
Is this actually in La Bourgeois, or is it across the road, or?
No, it's actually in the bourgeois. There's 6 phases. There's 6 phases of the bourgeois.
If I remember, the biggest concern was that some of this would be commercial?
I think someone did bring that up, but I assure you it's not. It's strictly a home.
Well, okay, well, be assured that, I mean, that guy over there, we need to make sure that, because that's not commercial, zoned.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Okay, so what I need to do to assure this gentleman?
He does have a large garage, 2,400 square feet, but tell him what you're gonna use it for.
Well,
I think I know,
Okay.
Okay.
but just for the record, it's not gonna be,
it's definitely not any kind of commercial
yeah.
business
Do
whatsoever.
you have a drawing, what it's gonna look like?
I beg
Do
pardon?
you have a drawing, what it's gonna look like?
That's
Well,
it.
yes, yeah,
I'd like to see it.
this is,
Oh, okay.
the actual rendering.
That's all I have, that's all I gave him.
Renee, is this the one where we had the acknowledgement that the restrictive covenants were being acknowledged and all, okay, okay. Yeah, this, I was losing track of where we were on this one, Steve. Mr. Taylor actually hired an attorney who secured all of the required number of signatures in this phase to acknowledge that they were okay with the proposal, even though there was a technical issue with the covenants. That's all been papered up and filed in the land records. So
Okay.
the part about neighbor buy-in has already been addressed, and the county is satisfied that that's been handled. The issue about the commercial versus residential aspect, I think we can do, Renee, we can indicate it clearly as a condition of issuing the building permit. So we'll make it clear that this is residential and it cannot be used for any business-related, home business-related purposes whatsoever. It's gotta stay residential.
And today, we're just setting the public hearing.
Yep.
That's all we're doing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I thought we was approving it. Been going on for a long time.
To answer your question, it's 5,000 square feet total. 2,600 feet living.
And 24, yeah.
garage.
All right, I make a motion, we set it.
Second.
Motion sets this public hearing by Steve,
I think it's
second by
about
Brad.
time we prove it, as long as it's been going on.
Well, you know, the thing about the way you put it out there, that way, one day, if it ever sold, whoever was to buy it wouldn't think, oh, I can do this.
That's correct.
I can make part of this commercial too. So it's just covering the whole thing for the future. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Pope.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I had a motion second. Everybody, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
That's it, you can go. Thank you. The next item is a conditional use permit for Daryl and Danielle Mitchell at 686 Andrew Chapel Road. The Mitchells are seeking the conditional use permit to place a 2021 32 by 80 manufactured home on this property. It's a 4.85 acre parcel. It's family land. It's zoned RE1. Manufactured homes may be allowed in the RE1 zone in hardship, temporary, or emergency situations. That's an aerial view of the property. His mother has a manufactured home on the property currently. Mr. Mitchell's application stated his mother is elderly and he needs to live close by to support her and help keep the property maintained. This is his site plan. The house will be approximately 272 feet from the front property line. That's a view of the property. That's his mother's existing home. Mr. Mitchell plans to put the home on a concrete slab and skirt it with brick if it's approved, and his mother also will deed him 1.5 acres if it's approved for the home to sit on. These are surrounding properties.
I make a motion, we set it.
Second.
motion set this public hearing by Steve, second by Daniel. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
So y'all are doing it for today. The public hearing will be May 14th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next is a dimensional variance for James and Marcia Beasley at 151 Woodlands Glen Circle. This property is in the Castlewood subdivision, which is part of the Reservoir Community District. That's an aerial view with the existing home on it. The Beasleys are seeking a dimensional variance of 4 feet for an accessory structure that was built within a foot of the rear property line. Reservoir Community District regulations require accessory structures be at least 5 feet from the rear and side property lines. This is a photograph of an existing deck and seating area that was there for many years. The new structure was built on the same footprint as the old, but it's too close to the rear property line, and so they're seeking that variance of approximately 4 feet.
Is that on the golf course?
Yeah.
It is.
On number 9.
Yeah.
Going back to that, but I mean,
What's the neighbors have to say? Are they okay with it?
well, some of them
Somebody
are,
called
some
it
of them
in.
aren't. But the problem is, it's not necessarily the gazebo itself. The question is, it's a foot over that 5-foot boundary line deal, right? So this is a really nice setup, and everything's good on the same side. So I'll make a motion to put that hearing out there, set the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion set the public hearing by Daniel, second by Brad. All discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed?
The people that don't like it, they can't see it, of course. It's a visual thing.
Their view got blocked.
Yeah. Save them getting hit by a golf ball or something, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard to build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shifted.
Move the pool.
And you're talking about, and the problem with it being built, the problem is what we're doing is, it's a foot off that 5-foot line, right? So if it was a foot the other direction, or, well, and on top of that, that's on top of the patio that was already existing.
Looks like you're closer than a foot, that fence on
It's too close. It's only a foot away. So
Right.
they're asking for a variance of 4 feet.
Right. From the line, property line, so.
But it was.
Jay would notice it because it's in out of bounds area, right? Jay hits it down the middle, so he doesn't notice it. That's where I hit golf balls, off the golf course. You'd never see it, so that's why he hits it down the middle too much, Parker.
Yeah.
You get over here and hit it where I hit it from, you'd find that house over there.
Yeah. No, I don't ever hit it that far. That's just.
All right,
All right, so the next item is a county-initiated rezoning on Highway 468. For these properties, we're initiating a zoning change from R1B to C2 for 2 parcels owned by Van Allen and a portion of the adjoining property. It's approximately 4.50 acres of a parcel owned by Ada Tony. That's an aerial view of those properties. And this is the zoning map. The area on the south side of Highway 468 has developed as commercial, starting with Dean's Funeral Home, the Subway, Dollar General, and then Van's Deer Processing and Sporting Goods. The parcel on the southeast corner of 468 and 469 was fairly recently rezoned to C2. These are the only parcels fronting on the south side of 468 zoned residential. The zoning change to C2 would reflect the commercial nature and development of that area on 468 and 469.
so it's going from really 469 up to Vans.
Well, that's the
Then it's
corner
on the
here, you know, as
Yeah.
you cross 49, there's more commercial down here,
Yeah,
but it would
49.
keep all of this
469.
uniform from Dean's Funeral Home all the way
Yeah.
down to the corner.
Yeah, but it's all on the south side. I know where it is, yeah.
Making it all.
Yeah, I know where it is. That's what I thought, you just kinda make it all whole.
Use your pointer to.
It's
reflect it.
these.
Right.
Reflect
These.
where the south line would be. There you go.
Right
there.
here.
See that, Jared?
It's just about 4.50 acres.
The larger portion of that parcel will remain R1B, I think, is what.
It,
Uh-huh.
it would.
Stay that.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I know where
153
it is. I was
acres, so.
just making sure, I thought that's where it was, yeah. Yeah, that's good. All right,
I'll make a motion to.
motion set the public hearing by Brad,
Second.
second by Jay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
All right, so if the zoning change is approved, Van Allen, Van's Deer Processing and Sporting Goods is seeking a conditional use with a dimensional variance at 777 Highway 468. This is a view, the outline of his parcels. This is the property where the store currently sits, and these are his 2 adjoining properties. He's proposing an expansion of the existing facility. He wants to add 2,400 square feet to be used for retail, which that's allowed in the C2 zone. But he's seeking the conditional use permit for a new structure, 9,000 square feet for meat processing. The meat processing isn't allowed outright in the C2 zone, so he needs the conditional use. That's an aerial view. You can see the existing building.
He's already doing it there.
He is, but that was grandfathered at the
Yeah,
time,
okay.
and so now,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, since he's adding a new structure, he has to expand, or he has to go through the conditional use. So
Okay.
this is the 9,000 square foot building here. This is the existing building. His addition, the 2,400 square feet that's going on to this building, is here. The variance is for the 30 feet between buildings here. Our ordinance says that only 2/3 of that can be paved, and it's already paved here between the buildings. So he needs a variance from the 30 foot. He needs a variance of 30 feet.
So Renee, we have more than 30 feet distance between the exterior walls, is that correct?
No,
Not more than
there's
30.
exactly going to be 30 feet across there once the new building is built.
Yes.
From the addition to the new building. There is 30 feet.
Yes, ma'am.
He just won't have the landscaping.
Exactly.
The third.
I want to be clear, that
Yeah.
it's gonna meet fire code, but there's a landscaping issue.
That's it, yeah. Sorry.
That's what I want to make sure.
Yeah,
Got it.
thank you.
Got it.
All right, so this is just a rendering of what the building will look like. He's going to renovate the front of the existing store, and everything will match there. The new meat processing facility will have a drive-through area, and people will come inside to pick up their meat and that kind of thing.
So it's gonna be, I'm just curiosity, but what he's doing is just moving the whole process out of the initial building.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
Having
And-
its own,
yeah, that way it won't smell like meat
And-
processing.
yeah, where you don't
Yeah.
have meat being towed
Right.
through the store.
Yeah,
And he's adding additional parking
Yeah.
to the west.
Renee,
Oh,
how many
good.
spaces additionally will be added, do you know?
Yeah, I got it in the file. I think it's about 57.
Adequate for the building is gonna be
Yes.
the number numeric.
Really, it exceeded what was required.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
because-
believe.
usually they come and go.
41 spaces were required, and they're
Okay.
adding 57.
Okay,
Mhm.
very good, very good.
Are they here today?
I'm not sure if anybody is here today or not.
Or who?
Vans, or anybody from,
No, there's no one here from Allen's.
Sounds good.
so this is,
Second.
Motion set the public hearing by Jay, second by Brad. Any discussion? Not all in favor say aye. All opposed?
okay, so the next item is site plan architectural review for Grace Baptist Church at 175 Stone Castle Drive. The property actually faces Castlewoods Boulevard. It has a 175 Stone Castle address. That's an aerial view. This is the existing church. Grace Baptist Church plans to remove the existing porch and foyer and add a new foyer and steeple. The new church addition will contain 1,085 square feet. It's basically on the same footprint as this. This is the elevation, just showing the building, the new proposed porch foyer area. It will have a stucco exterior from the top to bottom. They're doing away with the wainscot shown at the bottom. It won't have that. This is just their site plan. Again, it'll be basically the same footprint as the existing. They do show 2 restroom facilities in the new area. Those will be added at a future date. And this just shows the existing parking area. They're also adding this covered ADA accessible parking area and entrance into the church. This is a view of the church. The existing brick will be painted to match the stucco. And Norman Perkins is here if you have any questions for him.
Do you need approval, or did we set the
Yes, sir.
hearing? Just
Approval.
approval, so I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion approved by Daniel,
Second.
second by Jay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, the
Thank you.
second item under site plan architectural review is for the family health care at 112 Lake Vista Place. Jennifer Mooneyham for the Family Healthcare is proposing construction of a 3,590 square foot medical clinic. This is a 1 acre parcel, it's zone C2. That's an aerial view. She shows a 3-car garage area for her employee parking. All the parking will be hard surface. We haven't received any drainage plans yet, so if you approve the site plan, it would need to be contingent upon receipt of the drainage.
Yeah, she has a clinic right now in front of that building where she's going to put it. It's right there next to the Little Caesars area, and she's one of the. It's going to be a good setup thing. She's one of our leading nurse practitioners in the area. Does a great job on that. They're not going to shortchange any of this stuff, so I'll make that motion to approve with the contingent on the drainage approval.
Okay.
Second.
Motion approved by Daniel, second by Jay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next, nuisance properties.
They gave you the high sign. Back to you. Nuisance considerations, looks like item one, Mr. President, is the Jacob Anders nuisance property at 113 Brooks Coves, District 2. Ms. Janice is checking to see if anyone is here on that matter. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing and get Ms. Renee to demonstrate with the photos. Okay.
All right, so we received this complaint in January of this year in regard to rubbish and debris and appliances.
It's real odd.
These pictures were taken January 25th.
I've been knowing him since I was about 16.
And then these are the new pictures that were taken April 28th, yesterday. There has been a good bit of cleanup.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
Mr. Anders, yes, if you'll come forward, please. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jacob Anders, live at 113 Brooks Cove, Brandon, Mississippi, 39047. I was only about halfway done with the cleanup whenever those pictures were taken. I have pictures after the cleanup was completed.
When was this done? When are these pictures?
Yesterday.
Those are yesterday midday?
I'm not sure what time she took the pictures.
You got some more?
Yes,
Got
sir.
some more I'd like to see them.
Yes, sir.
Look good?
Me, it does. Grass is good.
Ms. Renee, do you have any more
Let
suggestions? on
her,
that?
I don't let Renee say them to them.
Where's that? Where's Brooks Cove?
It's on Old 471. You know where Tommy's is?
Yeah.
On top end, Tommy Street and Post. You head down 471 from Tommy's, take a right on the old 471 just before you get to 25. Head down 1 mile, and it's on the left, on the east side.
The only thing I would just add to it, I just want to be sure we keep it like that. And we
Yes,
keep
sir.
it cleaned up and not let it get behind you.
I didn't realize that the codes that I was in violation of existed.
Okay. You ought to be good now, huh?
I thought since I was 20 miles away from Walmart, five miles away from two different county lines, I would be okay.
Take these right here and let them look at them, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Here, just show them to her so she can see the difference.
Yeah, I think it looks good. They don't need to come out to my house with the camera.
All right, do you need action, Slay, or what do you need me to do? Nothing?
I thought
He's all cleaned up,
dead end road.
looks good.
I'm good.
All we need to do is to acknowledge on the record that we're closing the matter, that we're terminating the matter, and that we no further action.
Motion.
Motion by Steve, second by Daniel. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you for doing it. Thank you for taking care of things. Thank
Thank you,
you.
gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
We're grateful when it turns out that way, aren't we, gentlemen?
Yes, yes.
It's rare.
Renee Lawrence.
Mr.
Yep.
President, we're going to reflect that public hearing is closed if we
Right.
haven't already. Item 2, if we're prepared to move forward, item 2 is the Bobby and Deborah Pearson nuisance property. This is at 502 Ross Neal Road, District 4. We will open that public hearing. I will ask that anyone is here on behalf of the Bobby and Deborah Pearson folks, be prepared to come forward. Renee, if you'll demonstrate the full photos, please.
All right, so we've received complaints on Ross Neal Road in the past. This new complaint was on February 4th due to inoperable vehicles, rubbish, and debris. These pictures were taken on February 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Since then, a 6-foot fence has been put around it.
All right, these are the new pictures.
Mhm.
When were they taken?
They were taken yesterday.
Okay.
I ain't put my gates up yet.
What kind of fence is that?
10.
Metal?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like all the vehicles are still there, they're just behind the fence.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them there. Some of them I got rid of. 3/4 of them got antique tags on them, and they do run. There's about 4 of them there that don't run, so.
Where is Ross Neal Road? Where's that at?
It's over on Barefoot Springs.
Where's that?
Oh, let's see, if you come out of Pelahatchie, oh,
Take it right.
let's see, go toward Morton on 80 and take a left on,
Okay. Close to Morton,
It's
or
in the
Scott
Leesburg
County line.
area.
yeah,
Mm-hmm, right.
way out in the boonies. They got to pump sunshine out there.
I got you. I'd suggest you finish the fence out, so hopefully nobody else will be
You-
coming to us
I
with
think
it.
you're putting a gate up, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what the-
I'm gonna put all them openings right there. I'm gonna put gates.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
You shouldn't be allowed to continue to bring vehicles in and store like that don't run.
Okay.
So you shouldn't continue.
Right.
What do you do with them? I
Hmm?
mean, you just work on them or sell parts
I
of
just
them?
mess with them. I got one in there. It's about a $40,000 car that I'm redoing. I got a Chevrolet truck in there, about $9,500 in that I got to finish doing up.
What kind of $40,000 car is it? I'm just curious.
It's a 1972 Ford Ranchero Cobra Jet.
We've got any pictures of it?
It's sitting right there beside that white truck right there. You see it in that fence? It's right there.
You didn't zoom in on it and get that picture. We'd like seeing it.
40,000 for a Ranchero, huh?
Yep.
Cobra Jet engine.
425 if it's a 428.
Yeah. Got a 428.
Listen,
sitting there.
It's
Oh, Craig's like a star man over
Uh-huh.
here.
Hey, you gotta find a way to get him engaged right there. Hey, Sheriff even looked up right over there, huh? Yeah.
Why I love nuisance.
Yeah. Hey,
All right,
got
let's,
the sheriff's attention over there.
work. I'm gonna make a motion that we table it for about 30, 60 days, and you work with that lady and that man as far as finishing your gates and don't bring any more. You got enough. Because then I'll have to try to defend why. Okay? I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right.
All right, motion to table this for, I don't know, 30 to 60 days. Which one?
I don't know.
I think he needs to understand, though, that is,
It's outside the realm that we really have.
anyway, motion by Steve, second by
Okay.
Jay. Any discussion?
We're not in the city of Brandon or Flowood, and we're not within 40 miles of the city of anybody.
Yeah.
Part of what we do in a nuisance consideration is to address the aesthetics, the site
Yeah.
to the public
Yeah.
as they are proceeding. We're not out looking for technical violations. We have to address those as they're brought to our attention. When the site issue or the aesthetic issue is addressed,
Right.
FYI vis-a-vis the fence itself, then we're satisfied that the matter's been handled as far as the nuisance. If we get additional complaints, we'll address those. So I think the gentleman's done a good job of addressing the
Yeah.
primary issue, which is aesthetics.
Yep.
So I have no issue, Steve, to the extent that it was even y'all even were wondering what I felt about it. I have no issue with giving them 60 days to finish out the fence, and we'll tend to any other
Yeah.
complaints as they come forward.
Bobby, thank you for doing what you've done.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All
We'll
right, I
close
had
the
a
public
motion and a
hearing.
second, but we didn't vote it.
Motion.
I had a motion and a second, but
okay.
we had discussion.
Need to
All in favor,
vote.
say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay.
Very good. So that matter is closed. Item 3, Mr. President, Jerry Harrell, nuisance property, 515 Ross Neal, District 4. I will open that public hearing, and I'll ask Renee to demonstrate the photos. Either Mr. Harrell or someone representing Mr. Harrell can step forward.
All right, so we received this complaint about inoperable vehicles, rubbish and debris. These pictures were taken February 3rd of this year. These are the new pictures. It doesn't appear that there's been any change.
I think this one is across the road from the last one, I believe. It is.
So I'm not sure if you can
All right.
see it. We haven't had any contact from anybody on this one.
All right, I make a motion to declare a nuisance.
Second.
Motion declares a nuisance, Mr. Bishop, second by, Daniel. Any discussion?
Did y'all make contact with them?
The letters, it says were received,
Received.
but no, they haven't called or responded.
Is anybody here
No.
from that?
No.
No?
None of them are here.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
For the record, that matter is closed. Item 4, under nuisance considerations, Mr. President, is the continuation of the Mabel Davis Estate nuisance property at 563 Sand Hill Road. This District 4 property. We will ask Renee to demonstrate with photos, and we will also open the floor to anyone here on behalf of the Mabel Davis Estate.
So this was continued for 60 days. These pictures were taken February 24th. The original complaint was for inoperable vehicles, rubbish, and debris. Kathy has a note that they were cleaning up. There was only a few inoperable vehicles remaining on the property. These are the new pictures that were taken yesterday. So it is some better.
Is that a hot tub by the road?
Hey.
What?
I don't know. I didn't see the hot tub.
Let me get with you later on this. We had this before us, and there's been a lot of improvement. I don't know.
Steve, would you want to consider going ahead and have it declared as a nuisance?
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no, these people are like 3 or 4 generations, and they have had this tradition longer than anybody that lives around them. There's no one that is in sight view from either side or across the road for a good mile or 2.
How'd they find them?
What do you mean, how they find them?
No, I'm saying, how did they,
Just
how'd
driving
somebody-
by.
Oh,
I
I
mean-
thought you said you couldn't see it.
You can't, well,
Not from a major
Yeah,
road.
really.
there's nobody, this does not affect anybody, anywhere. And, if we do something, they do not have the means to move. They will not have a place that they can go. And, so,
Maybe the thing to do would just be to table it again, Steve, and
Yes, sir.
continue
Yes,
to
sir.
monitor.
Yes.
And let you,
they're doing better, they're doing better.
Okay.
Yep, yep,
you want to push it out 60 again, Steve, and revisit?
yes.
All right.
Okay. All right, how do we need to handle this? Just, we're gonna,
Just
motion.
just need a second on the motion to
Second.
table for 60 days.
Second.
The community is changing, but they are not.
Around them.
Yeah.
All right, motion by Steve, table this, second by Brad. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay. All right, that's it on this. Next meeting we held June 3rd. Have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion adjourned by Brad, second by Steve. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay, move on into the Board of Supervisors meeting.
We'll also reflect on the record, Jared, that hearing is closed.
Yeah, okay. All right, now we'll, let's see, we recessed. Now we need to have anything, all right, do I have a motion to reconvene.
I make a motion to reconvene.
Motion by Brad, second by Daniel. Reconvene the Board of Supervisors meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Craig Slade.
Mr. President, the first item under my section of the work session agenda is a discussion of the county's participation in the USDA program for beaver control. This is a federal program that allows the county and all counties in Mississippi to participate for a yearly flat fee amount of $7,500. We can participate in the, quote, beaver control program administered under USDA auspices. Mississippi State controls that program. Mississippi State employs individuals who work that program. They have federal jurisdiction under USDA mandate that allows them to go onto private property and conduct control activities with the permission of the property owner. That is an authority that this board does not have as it relates to addressing those kinds of issues. We have an additional services contract that we are currently operating under that provides the county with access to beaver control where it is directly related to our road and road right-of-way. But obviously, we're not in a position technically to be able to extend that authority out onto private property. And so the discussion needs to be whether it's appropriate for us to have access to both of those programs. We have in the past done either or. And what we find is that one without the other does not get us where we need to be for full control activities. So that's teed up for y'all to discuss.
I make a motion that we participate in both. We're halfway through the year. We don't need to pay for a full year with the extension. And Kenny Prince does our government work. He's Johnny on the spot. We call him, and that day or thereabouts, he's taking care of our problems.
Yes.
And he will work well, he's great. However, he cannot go on private property because he's working for us. The federal side of that, or state and federal, through extension, can. May not react as quickly because they cover like 5, 6, 7 counties. And we have, a lot of times, we have problems way down the stream that Kenny can't handle.
Yes.
And it's, I don't know why, but for some reason, these mainly beaver, but also we have some coyote type problems and other things, wildlife. It seems to be maybe because our county's growing, the population is pushing them in tighter, but we have more problems now, and it may be that now it's not looked on as good for someone to go out and shoot a beaver or coyote. Brian may get mad about it or something, you know, I don't know. But anyhow,
Mad because he didn't get it first.
we seem to have more problems now. And so I'd make the motion that we have both of those. It's pretty inexpensive when you look at it. I mean, fixing a bridge costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and even culverts and things like that, when these people are about $7,500
Yes,
a year. That's approximate.
Can I ask,
he,
can I ask
well,
a clarifier question, if I may, just so I'm clear on what Steve's motion is? Steve, are you looking for the board to authorize us to get back into the program at the point in time that it's the annual renewal? Or do you want to jump in now?
If they will give us a prorated. Yeah.
Right. I'm pretty confident, Steve, that the program says you're in or you're out, and there's not a midway. If that is the answer, if I may, Mr. President, just to ask, so that we don't have to come back and continue to interrupt the board's activity on this. If we find out that we can't prorate for this year, are you okay with us jumping in October when it renews?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if I could ask that your motion be to jump in if we are allowed a pro rata at this stage, otherwise, at the renewal date, which I think is October 1, we will enter the Fed program at that point.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. I feel sure, though, if an individual wanted to contract, they could contract with him outside for him to go further, if they wanted to, an individual.
Yes. So what we find, Jared, and this is just
I mean,
anecdotal.
we've done it ourselves. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
I know. I've done it.
That's where we can
Not with him,
establish a direct impact, negative impact to our road and road right-of-way. We do have authority, and Kenny can, in fact, extend out. However, that cannot be done without the permission of the property owner, and this is the key.
Yeah.
Where we don't have what we need is when you've got a private property owner who will not allow our man to go onto that property.
Right.
Yep.
Scott Shepherd does not have to ask.
Yeah.
He goes in wherever he needs to go to tend to the issue under federal authority. And Kenny Prince does not have that federal authority. So if I could, I just want to make it clear to you guys
Well, you're
why
not
we
doing,
feel
you're
like we
not
have.
solving the problem. I've been dealing with beaver, used to have traps myself, I mean,
Yes.
who were kids. You're not solving the problem, you just trap them here.
That's right.
Because you gotta go
Get
upstream
downstream.
and
Gotta get all the way where they are.
downstream to
Yes.
stop it, downstream particularly. But you gotta, so you have to expand
For the
that.
life of me, I do not know why folks are resistant to giving permission, but they are, and we see it.
A lot of them now live out of state, and they don't really care.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Well, so I think the
Their
motion would be,
problem.
Steve, if I'm stating this accurately, the motion would be for the county to go back into the USDA program, but to determine whether or not we can go in prorated for this
Right.
year, and if not, we'll go in at the annual renewal
I agree.
time.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. That's motion,
Well,
that's
can we-
motion, huh?
Mr. Dr. Rainey's here.
Oh, okay.
Is that what, does that sound?
Great. Thank you, gentlemen, for hearing this. It's a serious problem.
You don't come forward, please. And just, if you don't mind, just state your name and address. Just state your name and address.
Yes, I'm Dr. Ken McRaney,
Right.
2749 Star Road.
Right.
I have 323 acres there, bought in 1961 when I was 24 years old. The problem started then, shortly afterwards. Star Road was a dirt road, very little gravel. When you got near where my place started, it actually turned at a right angle slightly and then went on. I don't know why that was, but that's the way it was. It was up and down, hilly, and a path sort of way.
Right.
So you all had, the supervisors had let a contract, I didn't know that at the time, to rebuild Star Road.
Jay
I think-
did it. Jay.
Okay. And so, and that was a blessing to us because we were gonna have a real road in front of us. And so we gave, all the landowners gave right of way. Y'all didn't buy it at the time. We gave
nice.
right of way for the road and it came through. Rex Patrick, I think, had the contract to do the dirt work. And, of course, you all had surveyors survey out the new road. So you're straightening out the road instead of the curves and instead of the dips. And Rex told me later, I hired him many years later to do some work, and he said we had an excessive amount of dirt available to us. And so I decided to make a level road as much as I could rather than following the contour of the ground. So we wound up with a road. Now at my driveway, you stand at the level of the ground there, and and the road is 7 feet high. So it acts as a dam almost all the way across the front of my place. I have 40 acres on Star Road is all I have on the road itself. And so what has happened is that every time we get these excessive rains now, it floods a driveway. We have 4 homes in there, 4 family homes. And the water gets only one road out the place. I did have an access road out the back to Clarefoot Road. And a year ago, the rain washed a 5-foot diameter covered out that was 24 feet wide and washed the covered out about 100 feet into the woods. So I lost that way out. We have no emergency way out now in an emergency situation. So our driveway at the gate gets 2 feet deep now.
Because of the beaver.
Flood. So a regular car can't go out. We have, fortunately, all of us, the 4 homes, we have a pickup truck, and we use pickup trucks to get out. So this program, Kenny Prince did an excellent job, and he did trap the beavers across the road. That problem started when a man built a small pond where the water flows across the road. When Star Road, when I first saw it, had no culverts on it. It was not raised, it was at ground level. And the water came off of my place and just ran across the flat road on flat land on the other side and then on off. When the road came in and was rebuilt, you know, I wound up with a culvert. And it looks like a box culvert, but it's really not. The entrance area is boxed with the wings out to get the water headed in, but it's a round concrete culvert inside. So it's not doing the job it really needs to do anymore. It takes about a day and a half for that to, if it can run off, it takes about a day and a half to empty the excess that piles up against the road.
That's because of the beaver?
Right, well, yes, and so they block the entrance area over on the right-hand side of the road where the water comes from. And that is easier to dig out if you have a backhoe. If you don't, it is a job to dig out by hand. So the other day and I want to say Brad is my new supervisor. I voted for him, and I'm glad he's here today. And all of your people have been most helpful. You had your county attorney there at a meeting Monday a week ago, Brad and his assistant. And we looked at it and tried to see what it was you all could do and what it was you couldn't do.
Right.
I have a neighbor now that has complained about Kenny going in and doing any work and threatened to sue him.
What?
And Kenny came to me and he said, Dr. McElhaney, I just can't, I make my living doing this. I cannot do it anymore. I'm so sorry. And they've threatened him 2 times. The first time it was the basis of a dog might get in the trap. And Kenny tried to explain, well, it's down in the water. And the way I set them, I don't think a dog will sniff around and identify the trap or anything. But they didn't listen to that. So they keep the dog up. It's behind an electronic fence. So there really was not a true problem. It was if this happens. And then after they threatened him the second time, they said, if you even go in and set your trap, we're going to bring suit against you. They led me to believe they owned the spot where the beavers were building the dam. And it was not true. They didn't. And so finally I found out that 3 people owned property that sort of came together. And I identified a Mr. Lugo who lives in the area, who actually owned the area of property where the dam was built, the Beaver Dam, across the road from me was built. And he gives me written permission, nice guy. So we tried to hire, he and I, and the husband of the couple that has threatened to sue, was going to pay a one-third fee, and we will hire a dozer and wipe out that remnants of that small dam that made the little pond the man built 60 years ago across the road, where the beavers would get up against that earthen part and connect into the woods and stop the water flow. And we got the man that agreed to come out with his equipment and do it and get on pretty wet soil, which was dangerous for a dozer. And he agreed to do it. He came out and he arrived at a time that he was not supposed to arrive, and I was to meet him that morning. He didn't come until he came later and did his work without me there. Didn't call me or anything, and so we didn't get it really eradicated. The problem eradicated like we paid, but he paid $1,000, I paid $1,000, and we did $2,000 worth of work. That was not on my land, but somebody else's land. On my side of the road, we have only lived there on the place since 2006. Prior to that, I would have liked to have lived on the place, but we had theft, and they stole. I had a trailer down there. It was broken into 7 times. On the 7th time, the insurance dropped the insurance, which I was amazed they kept it that long. So from then on, whatever I lost was not repaired or anything, and so I wasn't able to justify coming in and building a home on the place and going off and going to work and hoping I would have a home when I got back. So all of that came to an end some years ago with, I guess, the people going to jail because it finally ended. And finally, we got a chance.
Brian Bailey got elected.
It may have been.
I really thought that's where he was going. I did.
Well, he's done a job, I'll tell you that.
Office.
That's where it usually goes, right?
There you go.
So,
But you good with, if we can get in this program
Yes.
in October?
yes,
You'll be-
listen, you just don't know what it means because your people can't take care of it. Kenny can't. And this man, Scott Shepherd, he will come at a moment's notice. If I call
I
him, he's
guarantee
there
if
that
you call
day.
him, he'll be there.
But if we can,
And so-
if for the time being, if we don't get in this program in the middle of the year, if they won't prorate it, if we can come in October, we'll keep Kenny involved right there at the road itself.
Great.
And he can catch what he can right there.
Yeah, I understand he's gonna go ahead and set some traps there to try to catch the one. The day that we met, Monday, I guess, of last week, I had to call you that morning, and the beavers had dammed it Sunday night. And so you all apparently sent out a backhoe and dug it off. And listen, I want to say something about that backhoe. The first time that I saw it done, it's dangerous setting up on Star Road. And he puts his stands out, sets up.
Oh, it's right there on the road.
Yeah, and it's
good.
right after the curve, and those traffic comes through, and it slid right up to the guy on the tractor, scared the wits out of him and me too. And he said, then I'll never come back and do this unless they set a pickup with 2 men in it. So from down, and for the last 10 or 15 years, you all have sent a tractor 10 miles from the shop with a pickup and 2 men to dig that culvert out.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how much it's meant to me to have you to do that, but it is a lot of trouble. And these 2 guys, Kenny Prince and Scott Shepherd, can solve a lot of that problem for you all and can solve our problem. And we need that driveway open. We've got 4 homes. It's the only way out. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you.
And we appreciate you
I think we're
all.
gonna get it done.
Oh, and I want to say, I was here to see the supervisors about 6 or 7 years ago. McLaurin School is probably the only school in the county that is split by a functional road. I witnessed a group leaving the elementary school and walking across the street, probably 2 classrooms full of kids, first graders, maybe even kindergarten, first graders, second graders, holding hands, 2 teachers walking them across. They were going across to the high school, probably for a meeting. And this big transfer truck comes along and comes right up to them. I was coming from Brandon toward my drive, and I was looking at the truck coming toward the children between us, and it really scared me. I thought the guy's gonna run right through them, and finally he stopped. And so I came to y'all and I said, look, somebody's gonna get killed trying to get these children across the street. And you all said you'd look into it. Within 2 months, you all had lights up, solar panel lights up, flashing, that can be timed to when the school opens or when it closes. And I am convinced you probably have saved a life. The next week, my wife and I were coming in about 7 o'clock. It was dark. And here were these parents going across from the high school to the elementary school where they had parked. They had apparently filled up the parking lot at the high school, and they had the children walking across, and the only way you saw them was your headlights. And I saw, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that was going on with night meetings, you know. At any rate, that's a dangerous place. It's a straight shot through there in front of that school, about a 3/4 of a mile. Kids use it for a race drag strip, but now these 18-wheelers are really rolling through there fast. So anything that you all, thank you for doing that for the school.
Thank you.
I think you saved some lives.
Thank you. Okay.
We always appreciate having
Brad,
constituents
thank you so
come.
much.
You're welcome. Dr. McCraney's a longtime educator, so I know he has a soft spot in his heart for our education community. I appreciate those comments. We'll do what we can.
I think that was me and Larry that did the blinking lights.
Very good, very good. All right. Did we get a motion and a second on that? And
Yeah, I thought we did, but anyway.
just in case we didn't vote, we better.
Made the motion, we need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Yeah. Got it.
All right,
Okay.
item B under my section, Mr. President, is a discussion of a potential action to address a resolution of our negotiation with Evergreen Water Association on our Andrew Road Chapel project. We are at the point now where, in order to move the project forward, we've got to get an issue resolved with the Water Association. Their demand was to be paid for all of the relocation costs on the entirety of the project as it impacted their service area. I don't know precisely what that distance is. It's probably in the neighborhood of a couple of miles is what my guess would be. The total relocation demand is $235,000. So we entered into some negotiations with Evergreen Water Association to attempt to arrive at a meaningful way to address that impasse that made sense. Our initial discussion with them was that we would pay for the areas of actual conflict, that is, areas where the road construction itself would necessitate their system infrastructure being moved. There are places where their system infrastructure is outside the construction area, and our estimates were that we would not impact. I want to say that that number was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50%, but maybe slightly less than 50% of actual conflict. And so we communicated our desire to want to settle up with them on the utility relocation under those conditions. That is, we would pay for half of their relocation costs. After discussions ensued, we were advised that due to the way that their system is designed, the way that they have tie-ins to serve the actual customers, that they were going to have to take offline the entirety of their system in order to move segments of their system, that it wouldn't make sense to have them move only the portions of the system that were in actual conflict, because they would lose water pressure, they wouldn't be able to maintain health department regulations. They gave us explanations that seemed to make sense. And so after further discussions, we arrived at a potential resolution that we're committing to you guys for approval today. That is to pay them the $235 for the relocation. But we have conditioned that payment in this way. They will get half upon approval of the resolution. They have to relocate all of their infrastructure within 90 days from the date that this board authorizes, meaning if you do it today, they have 90 days. We've set August the 15th as the date. That's actually slightly longer than 90. I don't want to quibble over that. I would just suggest we give them to August the 15th. We were using August 15th as a talking point date to make sure that we could get them relocated, that they wouldn't be making promises that they knew they couldn't keep. They believe they can do that. We also requested that we condition the acceptance, that they will begin their relocation activity at a point that coordinates with our construction contractor. They will start on the north end of their system and move to the south, which will allow for our contractor to be able to come behind in sequence, and there not be any conflict with respect to activity, okay? So with those,
You have all that papered up?
it's all papered up. It's all, in fact, it's all been teed up, and all we are waiting on is for this board to authorize the acceptance of this. Their board has already indicated acceptance.
I make motion to approve. We need to get going.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion approved by Jay, second by Brad. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Let me add this because I don't want it to be misunderstood or misconstrued. Legal counsel for Evergreen Water Association indicated that the Water Association was aware that the board was considering implementation of a utility permit fee that would be applicable, among others, to water associations. They misunderstood that discussion to mean that we were intending to only make that applicable to Evergreen Water Association, and that it would be in the nature of what we call in the legal community recoupment. And I clarified that immediately with Evergreen's counsel. This is not y'all's discussion about a permit fee structure and requiring utilities to formally ask for and potentially pay for a permit to enter our right-of-way. That is not a discussion that is directed to any particular utility provider. It's applicable across the board, and it would certainly not be in the nature of a recoupment action against this water association.
But they have to create the reason we're doing it.
Well, I think it begs the question. There has always been a cooperation between these local utilities and the county. We've always had a cooperative understanding. We have not faced a situation where demands are being made that we pay for their relocation when they are in our right-of-way or adjacent to our right-of-way. We haven't faced that before. And so in light of the fact that and I want to be clear, in light of the fact that we received demands for payment from water associations to relocate utilities, we are now considering other options available to the county that make it clear there once was a cooperative spirit, and apparently now there is not. I want to be really clear about that.
Put that on the record.
Yeah, the idea of
all of the others,
Right, okay.
not most,
Correct.
Right.
all of the others.
That's correct.
That's right.
That's correct.
When we're talking about large utilities, all of the others
Yes.
have
Yes,
cooperated.
that's correct. So
I
we
agree. I just want to say the word all, but you're right.
in case it's not clear, because I think there was some confusion on the part of some in the utility community and their
If they want to
attorneys.
shut this project down, let them shut it down and let them explain to their neighbors why that road will not be constructed.
Amen.
Okay. So I think it's clear, but I want to be clear just in case, because apparently there's still some confusion out there. The county started thinking about and talking about
permit requirements and permit fees only after this board was advised that the cooperation we have always seen in the past is no longer going to be the case.
Yep.
I want that to be abundantly
That's correct.
clear to anybody listening to this, reviewing this.
Craig, we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars already. Rankin Countyans,
Yes.
from Puckett, Star, Cross Gates, Long Pine, that's their tax dollars to fix this road,
Yes.
Andrew Chapel.
Yes.
The people that benefit the most live there and get their water from Evergreen. And for them to hold us hostage,
Yes.
it's just,
Well,
I've
that-
had phone calls, people threatening and saying this. I don't care if I never get elected, if I'm doing the right thing, and I feel like this is the right thing.
Yes. Yeah.
The problem
So-
what it does, the ones that have cooperated over all these years, it takes this one, it's now gonna make it bad for all of them.
Yes, that's correct. And it may not just be one, Jared. There's further discussions to ensue on yet another project later. But there's a common denominator.
But they're led by the
There's-
same
There's a
individual.
common denominator.
I just put it out there.
Yeah, I think I said that twice, I'm gonna say it 3 times. There is a common denominator
Yeah, well.
between the two potential problem water associations that we are still dealing with.
Have we voted on this yet?
Yeah, y'all
No.
voted, y'all have
Okay.
approved. I made sure I didn't get anything stirred up until it was already approved, okay?
Yeah.
So,
No,
here's another point that I wanna make
I'm
for all
sorry.
of the tax-paying citizens out there, okay? The other situations where we've encountered water associations or other utilities, such as your electric providers, such as your telecommunications providers, in each case where we've received a relocation demand, there has been actual negotiation,
Yeah.
literal, actual negotiation.
Right.
And an understanding that we are in this together to some degree. This that you just approved is an exception to that. This was not a negotiation.
Oh, no doubt, we all understand, we were held hostage.
This
And-
is a
and had
hostage
we not been
situation.
in this project 7, 8 years down the road and ready for
Yes.
construction.
No,
we-
10,
we'd
10,
been,
15, 10,
we'd been
12.
waiting some more.
10 or 12 years.
Anyway.
While we've got the opportunity to set the record straight, I want to set it straight. We have other discussions out there, Jay, so I want to be clear on the record. We intend to protect the county's interest.
So is this going back into the new right-of-way that we have obtained?
Yes,
Or
sir,
is it
they
going
are
out in their
going,
own right-of-way?
as I understand it, unless something changes between now and the point in time when they actually reinstall a new line,
Yeah.
my understanding is they're going in the back of the right-of-way.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. We hadn't seen it.
Okay.
They have 90 days to get it moved, regardless of where they go, okay? But I want to be absolutely clear about this. There is nothing in this agreement that speaks to the issue of what happens if they actually do go in our right-of-way and later they are asked to relocate. You are not agreeing to do anything or to compromise anything as it relates to future relocation. I want to make that clear. That's not in this agreement, okay?
well, they need to go way on the backside of it then, not up close to the road.
Yeah, I would suggest that if they don't want to have to relocate yet again, they better get out of the way.
Yeah, okay. All right, we had a motion and a second, a lot of discussion.
We've already
voted. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've already done. Okay, next, Mr. Keith, County Administrator.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. For your information, I've provided you each with an updated bond sheet. Just trying to keep you guys aware of where we are. Provide an opportunity for you to discuss anything or ask any questions you have. There's
Have
no.
you added anything in my district?
You still got that money over there.
I'm in the negative, looks like.
But any questions or anything, I just want to keep you guys updated. Give you an opportunity to see where we are.
Can y'all review that over the weekend and be prepared to address any
I don't know
questions that you
what
may
we
have
do.
on Monday?
Okay.
Yep.
We can look at it. Okay, all right, go ahead, Keith.
All right. Item B is the agenda for Monday, Monday's meeting. If there's any questions or anything you want to pull out or look at. And that's all I have today.
All right, let's see, seems like I have just one, but just a clarity deal. Something.
So, are we gonna discuss, are we gonna have an executive session?
Yes, sir.
Are we gonna discuss our Chantry building?
Yes, sir, that's, actually, Carl, I think Carl's planning to come on Monday to give another update on where we are on that, Jay. I have some information, and, you know, it is potential litigation, so it'd be appropriate for us to discuss that in executive. And I'm happy to provide the information I have, but I think you're gonna get an update
Monday?
on Monday, yes,
All
sir.
right, that's good.
But I do have other executive sessions.
Yep,
If y'all are finished reviewing the agenda, I'd like to ask that we bring one matter forward under additional business,
right,
if I may. I'm
okay,
gonna get ahead of y'all.
yep, please.
Folks, if y'all can come forward, Dr. Van Coleman has some property that is,
Y'all listen to this, please.
Dr. Van Coleman owns property that is accessed via a private road that comes off of the public road called White Road down in Jerry's district. It is by all accounts, by all record keeping that we're able to access, it served as a logging road historically. Jared, you may know more about precisely what it's used for, but for the most part, it's kind of a hunting property,
It's just an
timber
access road all
property
the years,
access.
just access to get back in the property, yeah.
Over successive years, there has been very limited, large tract acreage development out there, all of which is addressed off of White Road.
Let me back up on the road. The road is a access road, has been since I was a child, but it's been, over time, I wouldn't say upgraded as far as widened, maybe some. It's a, substantial, gravel road, I guess you'd say, but it's been, well used for years and years. So, Craig, you can go, I just want to let you know it's not just a pig trail.
You talking about by the county?
No,
Garbage?
no.
Nothing to do with the county.
No, it has nothing to do with the county. It's a private road. All right, go ahead, Craig. I just want them to know that it's not just a pig trail road.
Just wait, what's the issue?
This is our
Gonna get to it.
standard issue of the subdividing of property where there is not a public road access,
Frontage.
Jay?
Yeah.
And you're dealing with the potential for additional housetops and having no real mechanisms to control development activity.
Right.
Where substandard roads will not allow for meaningful first responder response. Our standard problems that we have, trying to get fire trucks a mile off the road through a pig trail and putting our first responder guys in a no-win situation. And
But
so.
it's not a pig trail through woods, it's an open road through the field.
Yes.
Or say fields or whatever.
So what we've done in the past, guys, this just as a brief reminder, and this is as much for the public as it is for us, but it's helpful information that should be shared. Our roads, when we accept them for public maintenance, have to meet a particular standard. They've got to be a particular width. They have to be composed of the requisite material. They literally have to have asphalt on them. Under our development ordinance, we don't accept gravel roads anymore as public roads. We got a bunch of gravel public roads, but
I got a few.
that's a long time in the past, and nowadays, we don't accept gravel roads for public maintenance, okay? And so this road does not meet any of those standards. I dare say that this road cannot be brought up to our standard in a way that makes any sense. Nobody wants to spend the kind of money to develop an actual compliant road in an area where the density of the lots or parcels that you could develop will not cover that cost. And so we have folks that come forward occasionally and say, I'm not in the subdivision business. I don't want to develop a subdivision. I just want to get a place that I can get access to. And I'd like the opportunity, if I decide at some point in the future, I'd like an opportunity to at least transfer some or all of my property to my family at some point. And so we have in the past provided for that workaround. This is an occasion where we're being asked to provide that kind of workaround. I'm going to ask this gentleman to come forward and introduce himself and give his address.
If you don't mind, come up here and explain. I'll give you just a little bit.
Is everybody family?
Yeah,
We
but
got neighbors and
No.
family, I think,
No.
and a
Yes.
real estate agent here.
no.
My name's Charles.
No family.
Excuse me, Charles Tony, that's my wife Patricia and our realtor and the neighbors that live and own a portion of the road to the property.
But they're not the ones selling the property. He's not here at the time, at this time.
Right.
What's your address?
I live at 17478 Midway Road in Terry right now.
Great location.
He's got other family that
Well,
lives in
yeah, I have
Rankin County.
My son, a few years ago, made an attempt to probably move away from us. He lived right next door in Terry, but he moved to Florence because he had 3 sons in school, and he studied the schools, and that was where he wanted to bring his family. So now we're trying to get closer to him, whether he likes it or not. But we were looking for, due to recent health issues that I've had, I'm trying to find a place where we can have family property that my wife can be near my son should anything happen to me. We were looking for 15 or 20 acres, enough to build 2 or 3 houses on. I have 2 sons. One doesn't really have an interest in, living next door. But we just happened on this property, and it's a beautiful piece of property. And I understand there's some issues with the access in.
Tell them how much land it is.
It's 95 acres that I'm looking for. It borders Steen Creek on one side. There's another French branch, I think it's called, stream on one side. It's undeveloped. It's beautiful forest. Some of it is low. I know just a portion of it is high enough to build on. All I want is a place to get my family. My grandsons they're all about the outdoors. They like to ride their 4-wheelers. Privacy, I don't want to invade anybody's privacy. I want to do my part to keep the road up because it's to my interest if my wife's driving down it or my children or my grandchildren are on the road. So I want the road to be in good shape. I don't have any desire to develop the property. There's a timber contract on the property right now that if this is a go-ahead, I want to buy the timber back because I don't want a timber company in there doing the damage. It's aside from the trees they'll take, I don't want to see what they'll do to get to the trees that they have marked that they want to buy. Some of them are right on Steens Creek. I don't even see how they'd be allowed to take them, to be honest with you. But I don't want to develop any of the stream areas. I don't want to cut any more trees than necessary to build roads in, find a home site, a barn site, basically a shop. I've been a carpenter all my adult life, and I'd like to have a shop out there, and some equipment and things like that. I have a tractor. I own 4 acres in Terry right now. We lived in South Jackson in a 1,000-square-foot house for 17 years until my son decided he wanted a horse. He worked at a stable to board his horse for 2 or 3 years, and we looked for property outside of Jackson. We stumbled upon a house in foreclosure in Terry that had 4 acres with it. So we moved there. We've been there for 21 years now. The next place that I live would be till the caretaker gets a hold of me. I don't want a development. If I want to live in a development, I'd buy a house in a development. I just want privacy, quiet, scenery, you know, a place I can live out the rest
How
of my
long
life.
is the road you talking about from the public to?
I haven't
private?
measured it.
It's
I
long.
would venture to say
Mile
that
or
it's,
two?
maybe a half mile.
It's a good
Half
half
a
mile,
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah.
Wouldn't y'all say? The
There-
neighbors are back here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Now, but the one thing, and Craig's gonna bring this up, so I'm gonna put it out there. What he's wanting is he's wanting to build, he would want permits for, probably 3 permits. His house and his 2 sons.
Right.
But explain that, one son probably pretty quick, the other son possibly later, is that correct?
Maybe,
Or
and maybe a
maybe.
grandson, yeah,
But
and maybe a
anyway,
grandson.
possibly
And,
two.
and I grew up on family property. My grandmother built a house next to my mother, so when she got old, my mother could help take care of her. And that's what happened. And then my grandmother died. My sister moved into my grandmother's house to take care of my mother till she died. And that's the kind of thing I'm thinking. That's why I said I don't anticipate more than 3 houses ever being built on it, because by the time the 3rd one wants to build, there'll be an empty house there. I won't be around.
Rob, the other thing, there is let's see, Dr. Coleman has a place there. I mean, on this, that uses the same road.
Right.
Is he here?
Huh?
There-
No,
No.
he's not
They
here.
all bring their garbage out to the public road?
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
they understand that they'll have to continue that?
they, yeah, always have.
There are currently 3
Nothing's
houses.
that part will never change.
Right. There are currently 3 houses on the road. I know there was an issue about addresses. I don't know what the numbers
Well-
are. I know the first house on the road is 679.
We'll get that
And
worked out.
supposedly the last house is 695. So I would think there were numbers in between there.
The biggest things he's asking for that is the fact that permits for
At least
2
three.
houses anyway, at least, well, 1, possibly, probably 2, at least 2.
Yeah, you become a developer then.
Yeah, that's where the problem is, the road. Well, actually, it goes back further than that, because you talked with Dr. Coleman, Presley, having been there, which has sold his place now. And I'm not sure, you got some of your neighbors here, I'm not sure if they have something they'd like to add or say.
Let me address the board
Okay.
on something that I think
Okay.
may be what the neighbors are curious about, if I may.
Sure.
So one of the preconditions that we discussed with Mr. and Ms. Tony was that we would require a formalized road maintenance agreement whereby each of the property owners who access this private drive, is unnamed, would commit to some sort of agreement, formalized agreement that can be recorded in the land records. And my understanding when we left was that everyone understood that that would be a requirement, and that's what we wanted. That will allow a situation to be clear to anyone out there that the county is not maintaining it. The county will not put county forces on it to smooth it out.
And it
fix the
never has,
potholes.
it
Never has.
It's always been what it is.
Correct.
Well, let
But
me
this
ask you
this puts it
Let's-
formally in
Let's
writing.
say if there's a handicapped child that a school bus has got to go down.
Yes, sir. One of the conditions that we have put in the restrictive covenants that are already in place out there, by the way, and that's one of the reasons why we're having this discussion, there are restrictive covenants already in place that affect this access drive. One of those conditions is that it cannot be used as a school bus turnaround. And so that's already on the record, in the record, and it will certainly apply to any successors in interest, including the Tonys, should they buy. So really all we're looking for here, and I'm not putting words in the neighbors, y'all may want to mention something that
Yeah, you're
is still,
welcome. You're welcome to.
is unclear. But in order for this to happen, the commitment would be this: no more than 3 dwellings on this parcel. No more. They will have to be subdivided formally because we don't allow but 1 dwelling per parcel, so there would have to be a subdividing. We're not telling them how to subdivide it at this point. We're simply indicating on the record that no more than 3 dwellings for the 95, okay? There has to be a formalized road maintenance agreement that's executed by everybody that accesses that road. So those are preconditions, and what we're doing here is just making it clear to the board that y'all are okay with that arrangement before they actually go spend the money to put all that
Yeah,
together.
Trying to make sure that this could happen before they go too deep.
So I would ask, is there anything that's unclear to anyone, or is anyone needing further clarity?
Yeah, please, yeah.
I'm Mike Harmon, I live at 697 White Road, and we're on that property. And
Hey, I didn't, what was your name?
Mike
Mike Harmon.
Harmon.
You look really familiar to me. I don't
But from the front, Sherry Gatlin owns, I don't know how much of it. She gave the first easement in there is 30 foot. Till you get the first half mile, then where Dr. Coleman bought his, I think he's got 50 foot there. But it's after the half a mile, and like we talked about, I put gravel on it all the time, man. I put gravel on it, but we got 30 foot is all we got. The easement from White Road, then we own part is 30 foot. The easement stayed the same when we bought, what we bought from Robbie Gatlin. But that's all I wanted to say, is let you know, be sure on that.
Thank you. So I think what Mr.
So
Harmon
there's
wanted to point out
already
to you
three
guys.
houses down that
Yes.
gravel drive?
Yes, sir.
Which,
Yes, sir.
this
Yes.
south.
What Mr. Harmon was indicating is part and parcel for why we have to recognize this as a private drive. It doesn't meet any of our standards, including our required right-of-way.
East of Steam.
It's just an easement.
So we
this,
just won't allow these people to build
we're
some more
we're
houses
just,
down there?
we're just gonna allow them to build.
What do y'all want? Why are y'all here? Why, tell me, why are you here? What would you like to see?
I just want to know what would have to be done about the road. What I don't want to be responsible for, me and my wife, is had to spend a bunch of money on that road. That's why, why we're here, and that all joins us back there.
Because
That's
the
it.
traffic's gonna increase.
Sir?
Because the traffic will increase, right? If we add
Yes,
more homes.
yes, yes.
So the Harmons were wanting to be clear on the record that there would be a road maintenance agreement and that there would be a responsibility of shared responsibility for
Right.
continuing to maintain the road.
Right.
But this board is not asking the parties to improve the road or to make it a county road. It's just that we're not going to take care of it, and therefore the people out there are responsible to take care of it. And if they're happy with it,
And that's amongst them
we're
to
happy
work
That's,
out,
yeah,
right?
that's,
Yeah.
Nothing to do with us.
I don't want to be
that's,
part of it, has to upgrade it, pave it and all that. I don't have that kind of money.
I'm good with what you said, no more than 3 more, but as far as, that's like a covenant to me on that road, it's between them.
That's correct.
Right, it's nothing
We don't enforce it.
But he just wanted to hear that and know that
Okay.
it's
That we
out
wasn't
there,
gonna
but it's
send him
nothing
a
we can
bill for-
enforce.
Yeah.
$500,000.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they gotta do it, we can put it down, whatever.
Yep.
We
I don't-
can't enforce it.
I don't, well,
It's just the way the zoning is.
Right.
And just-
They don't have enough frontage.
Well, what he's saying, I understand what he's saying, he didn't want something to change, and
It
that he'd be
makes
forced to have to
makes
go
sense.
asphalt it.
yep, I agree.
I got you.
Yeah, yeah. Larry,
What is it, Larry?
Larry's reminded me, for future abstract purposes, I honestly, I don't know how to address the question other than through restrictive covenants, which are already of record, by the way. So there are covenants already of record that would put anybody on notice that that road cannot be subdivided. Whether it gets caught or not, I don't know. We had real estate agents involved, and bless their hearts, they're not lawyers, but they have access to them. So it really is incumbent upon folks, it's buyer beware. And we can't change that. That's what the law says. If you buy property and it's not clear in the land records, you got an issue. And if there's any question, you need to communicate with the folks like this board, like our community development office, like our addressing office. Ask questions beforehand. Generally speaking, if you go out and look at a dirt road, generally speaking, in Rankin County, your first question needs to be, who's responsible to maintain that road? It
Well,
may
you
be
did-
public.
And they did the right
So,
thing by
Stump
they're
Ridge.
trying to do this before they get invested in something, and so many people don't do that.
Right.
They're gonna invest in it, and then now they're stuck, and they can't do. So, I
Yes.
met with them, we've met with them, so I told them they need to come to the board, and let's talk about it and see if the board's willing to do that. It really is up to y'all. I'm for doing it for them, but it's up
Make
to
a
y'all.
motion.
Hmm?
Make the motion.
Well, I mean, any
Let-
more
let me-
discussion?
Let me recap it for
Okay.
you, Jared. So this will be the motion. The motion would be to authorize the dividing of the to authorize the dividing of the 95 acres into not more than 3 parcels, each with a dwelling on it if they choose to put a dwelling on it. 1 dwelling, 3 parcels. And a required road maintenance agreement that delineates from White Road the entirety of that access all the way back to the 95 acres, and a road maintenance agreement signed and executed on behalf of each. It'll have to be drafted by the attorneys for these folks, whoever they choose to use. It'll have to be executed in accordance with the requirements of the law. It means all the executions have to be notarized. It's got to be recorded in the land records, has to be drawn up so that it meets the requirements to record it in the land records. I'm looking at Jessica over there. She knows what that means. And that is a precondition and a condition to your authority to do what they are wanting you to do.
Okay.
Okay?
I would
That
like,
would be the motion.
but it's not gonna be any more dividing out there,
That's correct. No further subdividing.
on
And-
anything out there.
Yes. One way that we will control that is that everything has to be addressed at White Road.
Okay.
And so addressing is going to, in essence, lock up the addresses that
Okay.
could be available
So
for any
this will be the
addition.
last development, last on anything out there.
I just asked them if we can, if our son wants to.
Y'all are already subject to the same restricted covenants on the access. That's already in place. It has been ever since Dr. Coleman bought the 20 and wanted to do what he does. That same access has a restricted covenant burden on it, no further subdividing. Subdividing, because they asked us to do that as a condition to
Right,
allowing
so we
this.
couldn't let our son build, is what you're saying.
I don't know.
You'd have to come back and try again, is all I can tell you.
That,
You'll have to ask the board to allow that or authorize that.
I thought you were saying no more.
Well, you would have, you have to cross that road when he gets here.
The 95 cannot be subdivided further. No more addresses related to those parcels.
Okay.
Yeah.
y'all would have to come back here and do the same
Right.
thing he's doing.
All right, I make the motion. I just want to make it clear that ends the subdividing,
Yes, sir.
unless it comes back
On
here.
On the
this
On the
95 acres.
Well,
And the access. That's already included.
well,
Access has already got restricted covenants on it. Any subdividing is gonna have to have board authority.
on any other property
Any
out
other
there.
properties.
Okay, that's what
It
I'm gonna
already
put
really
there.
is.
Huh?
It already is. I mean, that's what they're doing here today.
No, it's not.
The
Not
95.
for the
is on
95
table.
acres, it is.
The other parcels that are in play here, if it's gonna be a family subdividing, my assessment of that is that this board has always shown a willingness
Right.
to allow a subdividing where it's going to family members. That's never been an issue. I'm not familiar with any time in the past when this board has refused to grant
Okay.
a subdividing to family. So I think we're talking about a non-issue.
You're right. Okay,
Right.
all right.
We're gonna
I'll make a
add-
motion.
We're gonna add.
I'll make a motion, to add this to item to agenda.
All right, second.
Second by Steve.
That's-
All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Dr. Van Coleman, is that right? Okay,
It's Dr. Coleman's 95 acre parcel.
all right.
And I make a motion to approve.
What I outlined, Jared.
Huh?
What I
By,
outlined. And I'll work
approve
with
everything he
Jessica.
said, the way he outlined it. And, I don't think there's any other, anyway, made that motion.
Second.
Second by Brad. Only discussion, make sure it's clear to everybody what we've done. Okay, all right. Huh?
It has no effect if
If the sale doesn't go
these
through.
folks don't, because we're doing it for these people.
Yeah,
We understand
right.
that, right? This is directly related to,
Yeah, it'd be different circumstances. Anybody else needs to come back before us. Because they're not all,
Okay.
it's not gonna be the same circumstance.
All right.
that's right, case by
All right, I had
case.
a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
Okay,
okay.
Thank you.
very good, very good.
We're real excited about getting in Rankin County.
We're very excited.
Hopefully it goes smoother from here.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna,
I'm already did.
Look, where they live, where they're going, I mean, it's just like where I am. You're down, you're away from everything, but yet you're close to everything. You move there, you go home, you don't know everything else that's going on.
Have no control over what happens across the street, now I don't have to.
the only thing you need to know, when you
Okay.
move across that river, Brian Bailey.
And you need to know when you go into the Florence city limits, you better go down to 35.
We found that out, our grandson.
Okay, yes, they mean it,
Grandson found that out.
yeah.
Another week of suspended license.
Yeah.
You leave White Road there, you over hitting your brakes.
That was the
I'm
first thing they told me
surprised.
when they moved to Florence.
Yeah.
Slow down when you get to see that city limit sign.
Yeah.
Do not go over 35.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Dr. Coleman, when you walked up there and they asked you to say, tell your name and address, you didn't start off with saying, and I love Brian Bailey.
No, that's not Dr. Coleman.
Dr. Coleman's
No,
not here?
Dr. Coleman's not here.
Okay, well,
That was history and we're talking future. so-
Okay, all right.
Very good. Thank
All
y'all.
right, thank y'all. Thank you. All right, do I have is there a need to go into executive session?
I'd like for y'all to discuss the need to go into executive session. We have a multitude of issues, unfortunately, gentlemen. The ones that I'm going to discuss with you relate to active and/or potential litigation.
Okay.
a motion. Need to go into executive session.
All right, motion by Jay, second by Brad. All in favor, say aye
Yep.
for the need. All right.
Y'all may be here an hour.
No, we're not gonna take long.
All right.
But what I'm doing is I'm gonna take.
I got a question. Is Renee and that girl all kin to each other? I know y'all are kin.
I got them in stereo now.
Yeah.
Y'all wanna vote to go?
I'll make a motion, go in.
Second.
All right, motion by Brad going into executive session, second by Steve. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Where Daniel go?
Bathroom. I'm falling. I'm waiting for him to come out. Or either I'm gonna go in the women's.